The first time the FBI director has publicly confirmed there's an investigation into claims that Russia meddled in last year's US presidential election and also suspected collusion between President Trump's campaign and Moscow. The statement came as James Comey and his NSA counterpart testified before Congress Monday.
I have been authorized by the Department of Justice to confirm that the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
Comey says that he can't get into details, that it's all classified. But that doesn't stop congressmen from digging for juicy details.
Were you aware that Donald Trump had 6 trademarks in Russia?
Not going to comment on that.
Were you aware that Donald Trump tried to market his Trump vodka brand in Russia?
Same answer.
Were you aware that Donald Trump ran Miss Universe 2013 out of Moscow?
Same answer.
Proving that Trump and Russia colluded for an election campaign requires a little bit more than beauty pageants and vodka sales.
The dots continued to connect President Trump, his team, people in his orbit, to Russia.
Congress wants us to be connecting the dots. That's where that salacious dossier describing Trump's antics in a Moscow hotel room comes up. Even notorious Clintonite Michael Morrell says he's not so sure about it.
Unless you know the sources, and unless you know how a particular source acquired a particular piece of information, you can't judge the information.
But that didn't stop the Intelligence Committee from bringing it up.
How many claims within Steele's dossier are looking more and more likely as though they are accurate? Are you investigating the claims made in the dossier?
At this point, we don't really have any solid evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Previous reports from intelligence agencies have said no warranties, meaning they can't really vouch for the sources and have varying degrees of confidence. The Obama administration assured us that at some point we would see this proof. However, whenever FBI Director James Comey is asked about it, he gives a response that sounds something like this.
I don't know. I can't say much about them. Mr. King, it's not something I can comment on. Sewell, that's not something I can answer. I have to give you the same answer. I'm not going to comment.
Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
We talked to a number of experts for their assessment of the intelligence hearing then.
Well, you got to give Trump some points for chutzpah trying to sell vodka to the Russians. That's pretty funny. But the idea that an American businessman does business with places like Russia and overseas, I think is a very good thing. It's a healthy thing. Where dollars cross borders, troops very seldom do. You know, the idea that somehow having contacts, having connections, having peaceful trade relations with other countries makes you somehow suspect. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Hopefully the Democrats and neocons in Washington will take some antipsychotic medication, you know, and come back down to earth.
It was an embarrassment, you know, with the world looking on. Here's the U.S. Congress. There are 6 or 7 wars going on, right? Undeclared wars. And here's the U.S. Congress engaged in this tomfoolery effort to, number one, Democrats explain why it was that Hillary lost. I mean, they still haven't gotten over it. It couldn't have been Hillary, right? It couldn't have been that she was a very flawed candidate. It's got to be, the Russians probably, right? And number 2, how to disable Trump to the degree that he can't possibly work out a decent relationship with the Russians.
Well, look, I think that they're running around. It's kind of fun to watch. They're trying to prove something that, you know, as you alluded to before, they may dig into this and find out that if there was people messing with an election, they were looking at Hillary or they were infiltrating Hillary's campaign. I hope there's a full investigation into Hillary's campaign, how they were funneling money through the Clinton Foundation, all that stuff. Look, meanwhile, Donald Trump is about to get a Supreme Court justice, about to get progress on tax reform. Things are moving forward. It's starting to be just a distraction all around, though.
Besides Trump's supposed collusion with Russia and Moscow's alleged meddling, this channel, our very own channel RT, was brought up plenty of times in the discussion as well. In fact, if you were counting, 32.
The Kremlin is waging an international disinformation campaign through the RT propaganda network, through the use of slick propaganda like RT.
RT, the Russian-owned propaganda media outlet.
Michael Flynn has been paid by the Kremlin's propaganda outfit, RT.
I don't know how you did it. I don't know who you paid off for this. I mean, what were you mentioned about 12, 15 times? Am I a part of a propaganda unit? Is that what you've got me into this time? Listen, I watched that today, and that was 5.5 hours of my life that I'll never get back. Do you realize that we learned absolutely nothing? I don't believe in torture, but if ever there's an alternative to waterboarding, may I suggest making somebody watch that interminable hearing? Because I'm telling you, after 2.5 hours, they'll scream for waterboarding. It was horrible.